Hey, do you think silver is a good investment right now? With everything going on in the market, it's hard to know if it's the right time to buy. You might be thinking, should I wait for a dip or just jump in now? Well, let's break it all down and figure out if silver is still the shiny investment opportunity it's cracked up to be. Stick with me till the end because trust me, there's a lot to unpack here, and you'll want to know this stuff before you make any decisions. So, silver's been on a bit of a roller coaster ride lately. Right now, as of March 2025, the price is sitting at around $33.89 an ounce. It's gone up about 15% in the last 6 months, which is a pretty solid return, but with precious metals, it's never just about the price today. What's really going on with silver and why should you care? Well, let me tell you, silver's not just some metal you find in your grandma's jewelry box. It's used in tons of important industries: solar panels, electric vehicles, even smartphones. So when people say silver is an industrial metal, they're not kidding. And unlike gold, which mostly sits in your jewelry drawer or a central bank vault, silver actually gets used up, sometimes in huge quantities, so its supply is limited, and that's one of the reasons why it can get a little volatile. I get it. You're probably wondering, okay, but why should I invest in silver instead of something else? Here's the deal. Silver is a solid hedge against economic uncertainty. In a world where inflation is making everything more expensive and geopolitical tensions are running high, silver is like that buddy who always has your back when things get rough. No, seriously. When economies face major issues, whether it's inflation, deflation, or even a global crisis like a pandemic, people turn to silver because it's seen as a safe haven asset. Take a look at this. The US debt is growing at an insane rate by $1 trillion every 100 days. How do you think that's going to affect the dollar in the long run? When inflation starts to rise and the value of fiat money drops, silver and gold can hold their value better. Why? Because silver is something real. Unlike currencies that governments can print endlessly, silver is a tangible asset, and that's why people flock to it when times get tough. Now let's talk about how silver has been performing lately. In 2023, silver had a pretty solid year. It surged along with gold. But what's interesting is that silver is often seen as the volatile sibling in the precious metals family. If you've been following silver for a while, you've probably noticed how its price can swing drastically. For example, back in 2020, silver prices shot up by an insane 142% between March and August. That's crazy, right? But that's just how silver rolls. It's a little more unpredictable than gold. And yeah, that can be nerve-wracking if you're a new investor, but it's also what makes silver such a potential gold mine, pun intended, obviously. So, why the volatility? Well, silver is influenced by more than just interest rates or government policy. It's also driven by real-world industrial demand. If you look at the renewable energy sector, that's where things get really exciting for silver. Here's a fun fact. Each solar panel uses about 20 grams of silver. So you do the math. If the world is transitioning to more clean energy, silver is going to be in high demand. In fact, global investments in renewable energy surged 17% last year, totaling nearly $1.8 trillion. A huge chunk of that is going into solar power, which means a lot of silver is getting gobbled up by those solar panels. But it doesn't stop there. Silver is also a key player in the electric vehicle market. You've heard of Tesla, right? Well, every electric vehicle on the road today uses about 25 to 50 grams of silver, depending on the model. And here's the kicker. Automakers are expected to spend about $860 billion globally by 2030 to transition to electric vehicles. That's a huge amount of investment, and it's going to require a ton of silver. In fact, the International Energy Agency predicts there will be over 220 million electric vehicles on the road by 2030. If silver prices are tied to industrial demand, you can see why it's got so much potential. And I know what you're thinking, that's a lot of silver, but where is it all going to come from? Well, that's a tricky question. Here's the deal. Silver's market is forecast to remain in deficit, meaning we're using more silver than we're producing. In fact, this year will mark the 5th consecutive year of a structural market deficit. That's a pretty big deal because silver is already in high demand and the supply just can't keep up. This imbalance is one of the key factors that could push prices even higher in the years ahead. If the market can't catch up with demand, prices are likely to rise as people compete for this precious metal. Now you might be wondering, okay, this all sounds good, but how do I actually buy silver? Well, you've got a few options here. First up, you can go for physical silver. That's the classic route, buying actual silver bars or coins. There's something satisfying about holding physical silver in your hand, and it's a great option if you want to truly own the metal. However, it's important to find a trustworthy dealer, and you need to think about storage and insurance. Nobody wants to lose their precious metal in a safe deposit box somewhere, right? Alternatively, you could go the more modern route with silver exchange-traded funds or ETFs. These are funds that track the price of silver without you having to physically store it. One popular silver ETF is the iShares Silver Trust, SLV. As of March 2025, it's trading at around $30.85 per share. With ETFs, you don't have to worry about the logistics of buying and storing silver yourself, but remember, you don't actually own the physical metal. Then there's always the option to invest in silver mining stocks. A few well-known companies in the silver mining space include Pan American Silver and First Majestic Silver. Investing in these companies gives you exposure to silver without actually owning the metal itself, and it allows you to benefit from their potential upside as silver prices rise. But of course, mining stocks come with their own risks, like operational issues or geopolitical challenges. So your own research matters a lot. Now let's circle back to why you might want to invest in silver in the first place. I mentioned earlier that it's a safe haven during economic crises, and that's absolutely true. The world's been through a lot in the past decade: pandemics, financial crashes, climate disasters, and yet silver has stood the test of time. It's been used as a store of value for thousands of years. The reason it's still relevant today? It's because it's real. It's not something that can be printed like money, and it's not something that will suddenly lose its value because a country decides to devalue its currency. Silver has intrinsic value, and that's why it has such a solid place in a diversified investment portfolio. And here's something else to consider: silver's liquidity. If you're thinking of buying silver and then selling it in the future, it's a pretty liquid market. Unlike stocks, which can be hard to sell in a downturn, silver is easy to buy and sell with the right dealer. So if you're looking for an investment that's both tangible and easy to exit, silver's a solid choice. But here's the thing: silver's not perfect. It's volatile, and it's impacted by a ton of factors: interest rates, industrial demand, even global crises. But in times of uncertainty, silver has a unique ability to hold its value. Whether you're worried about inflation, a potential recession, or geopolitical risks, silver is that reliable backup plan that can help protect your portfolio when the going gets tough. So, what's the bottom line here? Is now the time to buy silver? Well, if you believe in the continued rise of renewable energy, the growing demand for electric vehicles, and the structural supply deficit, then silver might just be the investment you're looking for. But always remember, don't rush into anything without doing your due diligence. The market's unpredictable and prices can fluctuate. It's essential to assess your own risk tolerance, and if in doubt, consult with a financial advisor. If you want to stay ahead of the game and future-proof your portfolio, silver might be one of those assets you want to keep an eye on. It's got a lot going for it, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the coming years. Now, if you found this video valuable and you want to diversify your investments beyond traditional stocks and bonds, I have just the thing for you. Even though I believe that investing in a low-cost index fund is the best long-term investment for the average Joe, the benefits of solid physical gold are hard to deny. I think of physical gold as insurance against unpredictable times, and I'm not the only one. In 2023, central banks added over 1,000 tons of gold to their reserves, the second highest annual purchase in American history. And in 2024, central bank got another 290 tons of gold in just the first 3 months of the year. If the biggest banks in the world are buying tons of gold, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. I found a company that allows ordinary Americans to own and securely store physical bars of gold as part of their IRA account. The best part is that they're giving away a free guide to teach you all about investing in solid physical gold. If you want to learn more about how gold can protect your retirement savings, just click the link in the description to receive a completely free gold IRA guide.